So in lesson 4, we're going to look at two little mini lessons. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to find values in an array. And the second thing we're going to do is we're going to look at what are called parallel arrays. So by the end of these two videos, you should be able to find elements in an array and you should be able to create and use parallel arrays. So to start, we're going to create a program that actually finds the values in an array, and it actually helps us to find a specific value. So to start off, we're just going to create a program similar to what we had in the last video. So we're going to have our definition main. I'm going to do a name array, and it's going to start off as blank, so it creates a blank array. And then from here, we're going to do for I in range 5. And essentially all this is going to do is it's going to cycle 5 times to add 5 names to the array. So I'm going to prompt my user to enter in a name. So say, please enter in a name. And then from here, we will take the name array and append it with the given name. So again, remember, this is just getting name from user. And all this line is doing is adding the value to the array. So we're creating an array with a name, and ultimately we're creating an array with names, and ultimately we're going to search this array to find specific names. And here, just to make sure it's working, we're going to do for I in name array. And from here, we're just going to print I to the screen. So remember, this for loop will cycle through all items in name array. And this one here will print the current item to the screen. So if I just run this program to test it out really quick, we can see that it prompts me to enter in names. So Sarah, Laura, David, Jack. Okay, so we can see that we're adding 5 names into our array. So the next thing that we're going to add in is we are going to now look for finding values in an array. So the first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to ask the user what name they are currently looking for. So here we'll do find name, and we'll ask the user, what name are you looking for? Because we need to know, so ask user what name to find. So the first thing we need to do is we need to actually know what name we are looking for. So we're going to save that value inside of find name. The next thing we need to find is we need to track the index of what we're currently comparing it to. So we're going to have index equals 0 to start, and essentially we're going to cycle through and we're going to compare and say, okay, index 0, is this the same as find name? Index 1, is this the same as find name? Index 2, is this the same as find name? And we need an index value to cycle through and track exactly which index we are currently looking at. And from here, this is going to seem a little weird, but this is going to be a flag to state whether the name was found or not. And this is going to seem a little weird until I write the program, but I'm going to start the flag off as no. I'm going to assume that the word was not found or the name was not found and go from there. So the next thing I do is I'm going to have a for loop that cycles through all the values in the array, because I want to actually look at each item in the array and figure out, is it the same as the name that the user is looking for? So there are a couple different ways you could do this. You could use the indices, or you could just type for I in name array. So this is going to cycle through each item in the array. And then ultimately what we're looking for is we're going to say if I, remember I is the current value in name array that we're looking at, and if I is equal to find name. So this is saying checks if current index is equal to the name we are searching for. If I is equal to find name, then we want to actually do something here. We want to actually state, hey, our flag needs to change to yes, because this says, or this changes to say we found name. Then what we're going to do is we're going to have found index be equal to our index value. And the reason we're going to have this found index is because it's going to say we found the name at this index. What's going to happen is we're going to cycle through each value in name array. Each value we're going to compare to find name, and if they are the same, we're going to flag it as yes, save that index, and then from there, we'll actually print that out to the screen. So I'm going to say if flag is equal to yes, then I want to print it out to the screen. So if name found, print index to screen. We're going to then type print and say name was found at index, and then we'll type in found index value. And from here, because we want to search for more names, so this is going to print it to the screen, we're going to reset the flag to be equal to no, so we can search for the name again. Just to kind of reiterate what we've done so far, we're going to cycle through each value in the array. If it's equal to find name, we flag it as yes, and we save the location. If the flag is yes, we're going to print that index to the screen and then reset the flag to no, so we keep looking for new instances of where that value is. Now from here, the last thing we need to do is remember this index needs to increase every time so our found index can be updated. We're going to take index and change it to index plus 1. So this increments the index. Okay, so now let's test it out. Okay, so it's asking me to enter in some names. So I have Sarah, Laura, David, Peggy, and we'll do Sarah again. So these are the 5 names I've entered into my loop or entered into my array. And then from here, I'm going to search for Sarah. It's getting a little mad at me. So find name. Oh, it's mad because these don't match. There we go. So now let's try this one more time. There we go. Let's enter them in again. I'm looking for Sarah, and it tells me that it was found at index 0 and index 4, which if I look, index 0 and index 4, it's found in 2 locations, so I'm glad that it's popping up twice. That's what I would like it to do. So again, look through this code, make sure you understand what's going on. We're turning on a flag so we can say, yes, we found it, resetting it, and then remember this value here is tracking our index each time through. So first time we go through, we're at index 0. Second time we go through, we're at index 1. Third time through, we're at index 3, so on and so forth.